Hello there guys, and welcome to our 39th C++ tutorial. Today's tutorial is going to be an exercise. It's going to be well, basically another way of basically detecting how a number, how to tell between which number is greater than the other. So if one number is greater than the other, basically checking which number is for in this tutorial we're going to do which number is smallest in this exercise. But the point is, if we could use if statement or branching, that would be fairly simple. But we're going to do this basically using logical operators, basically using AND gates, OR gates, and XOR gates. So to waste no more time, let's go ahead and get started. And guys, if you didn't watch the previous tutorials, go ahead and watch those and subscribe to the channels and leave comments and rate the videos. It truly means a lot. And if you didn't watch my other tutorials, guys, go ahead and watch those as well. Alright, so let's go ahead and start by including the IO stream. And if you guys don't understand what's going on in the tutorial, don't worry, we're going to explain in detail what's going on at the end once we're done typing the code. And let's go inside our main here. This is going to be fairly short code, but simply is just an example. Let me just type return 0 here. This is this looks complicated, but it's actually a much better way. It's a better way to basically detect that. This is what's going on under the branching statement, the if statement, and so on. Alright, so let's have a couple of integers here. I'm going to call one is min. I'm going to have an x, and let's set this equal to, let's say, 5. And let's have a y, and let's set this equal to 4. It doesn't matter. Let me just keep small numbers for this tutorial. Then let me just type a cout statement here and say the min equals, and then put the min here. And let me put an end line. Alright, now let's detect the min. How we do that? Let's set the min equal to y XOR. That's the basically the symbol for XOR gate, guys. I don't know if you know that, but the XOR gate is this guy like that. Alright, and let's go here and have, I'm going to have x XOR with y and minus x less than y, and this will give us the minimum. So this will give us the min number. Alright, we're going to go in more detail down here, so I'm going to put a comment here just to explain to you guys what's going on. Alright, so let me put it in here. Alright, let me put it okay. Alright, so let's go part by part here. So we have the x less than y. So we know clearly by looking at the numbers here that y is the minimum. How do we tell that here? Well, in this part we're checking if x is less than y. Is x less than y? No, this is false. So the equivalent for false in the computers is 0. So what we get here is a -0, which we will get a row full of zeros. So we will get basically the bits, everything will be 0 because this is false, and a -0 is still 0. That's in 2's complement. There we go. Next, here we will be checking the x, y. So we have the x or y here, and we can convert this into binary because the computer will check for binary. So x here is 5. So for 5, what do we get here? 5 is equivalent to 0, 1, 0, 1. That's 5. And I'm going to continue down here. And number 4 is just 0, 1, 0, 0. And let me go one more down here. Let me put this. So then we XOR this together. So what do we get? XOR means if we have the same bit, basically if it's 0, 0, 1, 1, that is equivalent to 0. So what we get here is 0, 0, and if it's a different one, that's equivalent to 1. So we get 0, 0, 0, 1. That's what we get for this part. Our next part here, what do we have in our next part? For our next part here, we have basically x XOR y, and then we have and minus x less than y. That's the next operation we will be performing here, which equals. So for our part here, x or y, which we got here, this is the equivalent of what we got there. So for that we have 0, 0, 0, 1, and then for for our second part here, which is negative x less than y, we have that to be zeros, and then we are ending them together, so this and this. So we remember, in end it has to be 1 or 1 in us in order for us to get a 1. If everything else would be a 0, in our case here everything is 0, because 0 and 0 is 0, 0 and 0 is 0. So false and false is false, false and false is false, false and false is false, true and false is still false. And now we have all the inside here, so we basically have all this part here. Now for our final part, we're getting the y, and we are XORing it with all of this. So let me copy that, and let's go ahead and explain that as well. So for our final part here, we have y, and we are XORing it with all of that. Remember what y was? Y is 4. So y is basically 0, 1, 0, 0. And our second part here, which was we got up here, which is all zeros basically, 0, 0, 0, 0. So now, as you remember, as we said before, the XOR here means if the bit is the same, so if it's false and false, it will stay false, and if it's different, if one is true and one is false, it will basically become true. So here we get 0, 1, because 1 and 0 is 1, and then 0, 0. So the final number we get here is basically 0, 1, 0, 0, and this number here, it's equivalent to 4 if you put it in basically in decimal form. So we're gonna get here, for our final result here, we're gonna get, as we said up there, we're gonna get min equals 4. As we see here, is this 4, and then down here we're printing out the min is 4. So if we go ahead and run this, guys, we should get printed out 4. Let's go ahead here and build this. So we do get the min is 4. I hope you guys like this tutorial, but in this case, let's go ahead and do a little bit more advanced one. So let's get rid of the y. Basically, let's not initialize them, and let's ask the user to input. So let's type cout, and I'm gonna type input to integers, and let's go ahead and type cin, and we type x and y. So now we're going to basically have variable integers, and the same thing will apply here, just like we did here, will apply to the integers that the user will enter. So let's go ahead and rebuild the solution, just so we can prove to you guys that this does work, and that's what it's actually doing. So let's input two numbers. Let me input 65 and 129 or 125. So we should get 65. So it is working. Let me write it one more time and type 659 and type 6 or 7 and type 644. We do get 644. Alright guys, so this was basically, this looks so if we get rid of our code here, the comments, you see that the code is reduced drastically, and it's actually basically a different way of viewing things. So I hope you guys like this tutorial. In next tutorial we're going to go ahead and do the same thing, but we're going to do the max. So how do we find the max? Alright, thank you guys for watching this tutorial, and this was an exercise basically, and I hope you guys will get to use this basically way of comparing numbers and instead of branching and using if statements. So thank you for watching guys, and stick around for more tutorials, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much.